Welcome to FlyEaglesFly News, where Eagles fans get the latest, fastest, and hottest updates. Hit subscribe and fly high with us. The vibe coming out of Philadelphia has been shifting in a way that longtime observers say you can almost feel in the air, and the whispers around the Eagles training sessions have taken on a completely different tone. People close to the facility keep talking about how one practice suddenly felt heavier, louder, and more intense, as if something big was unfolding right in front of the roster. The rumor spreading fast is that the arrival of Myles Garrett and Jordan Love, even if still surrounded by secrecy and speculation, has already changed the internal dynamic of the team. Players who were once comfortable in their roles are said to be looking over their shoulders, not out of fear, but out of pure competitive instinct. Garrett's presence alone, even in a hypothetical or trial-like scenario, is described as electrifying, with linemen allegedly struggling to process the idea of facing that level of power every day. Meanwhile, the mere thought of Love stepping into the quarterback room has reportedly sparked conversations that stretch long past practice as teammates debate leadership, arm talent, and adaptability. No one is officially confirming anything, but the energy feels different. Like the Eagles are preparing to turn a page. It feels less like a routine offseason and more like the opening chapter of a bold experiment that could redefine the identity of the franchise. If these rumors gain traction and evolve into reality, what really fuels the speculation is how insiders describe the reaction inside the locker room. When these names started circulating, veterans are said to be split between excitement and disbelief, because Myles Garrett represents not just elite pass rushing, but a statement of intent, a signal that the Eagles might be willing to shake the league's foundations. Younger players, according to the chatter, are treating every snap as an audition, knowing that competition would reach an entirely new level, with someone like Garrett demanding double teams and setting the tone physically. On the other side, Jordan Love's rumored arrival has sparked a different kind of tension, more cerebral and emotional, because quarterbacks carry the weight of the franchise narrative. Some players reportedly see Love as a fresh voice, someone who could bring a calm yet confident presence, while others quietly wonder how such a move would reshape established hierarchies. The coaches, at least in the rumors, are said to be loving the chaos, believing that discomfort often leads to growth. Nothing has been announced, nothing is official, but the way practice intensity has allegedly spiked suggests that the possibility alone is enough to motivate everyone involved. It feels like the Eagles are leaning into uncertainty as a tool, using speculation itself as fuel. There is also talk about how the city of Philadelphia would respond if these whispers turned into something tangible, and that conversation alone seems to energize the players. Garrett is seen as the kind of defensive force that fans dream about, a player whose motor and aggression align perfectly with the city's blue-collar identity. The rumor mill suggests that teammates can already imagine how his presence would free up others on the defensive line, creating opportunities that previously felt out of reach. Meanwhile, Jordan Love's name brings a sense of mystery, because he represents potential still unfolding rather than a fully written story. That uncertainty is part of the appeal, and players are said to be intrigued by the idea of growing alongside a quarterback whose ceiling remains a topic of debate. Coaches reportedly emphasize adaptability and open-mindedness, reminding everyone that great teams are often built by embracing change rather than resisting it. Even if these arrivals remain hypothetical, the psychological effect is undeniable, as practices reportedly feel sharper and more urgent. The Eagles, at least in this speculative narrative, are acting like a team that senses an opportunity to redefine itself. Another layer of intrigue comes from how opponents around the league are supposedly reacting to these rumors. Word is that scouts and rival coaches are paying close attention, not because anything has been confirmed, but because the idea of Garrett and Love in Philadelphia forces strategic reconsideration. Defensive coordinators would have nightmares trying to plan around Garrett's explosiveness, while offensive game plans would need to account for a quarterback who brings both mobility and a willingness to test tight windows inside the Eagles facility. This external attention is rumored to be embraced rather than ignored. Players are said to feel a renewed sense of relevance, like the spotlight has swung back in their direction. Even practice drills are described as more theatrical, with trash talk rising and intensity peaking, as if everyone is trying to prove they belong in this imagined new era. It is not about fear of replacement, but about the hunger to be part of something special. The rumors have created a shared narrative, and narratives, especially in football, have a way of becoming self-fulfilling if the belief grows strong enough. The speculation also touches on leadership, which might be the most fascinating aspect of all. Myles Garrett is rumored to carry a quiet authority, leading not just with words but with relentless effort. And that kind of presence can shift a locker room without a single speech. Players are said to already envision how his preparation habits would raise the bar across the defense. Jordan Love, on the other hand, is viewed as a different type of leader, one who communicates through composure and trust. The rumor suggests that teammates are curious to see how his style would mesh with the Eagles' culture, known for its intensity and emotional edge. Coaches are supposedly discussing how these contrasting leadership traits could complement each other, creating balance rather than conflict. The idea alone has sparked deep conversations among players about accountability and growth. Even if these moves never materialize, the discussions they have inspired are already reshaping mindsets, pushing the team to think bigger and act bolder. At the heart of all this speculation is a sense that the Eagles are flirting with transformation. The names Myles Garrett and Jordan Love are more than just potential additions. They symbolize ambition and risk. Fans and players alike are drawn to the idea of a franchise willing to challenge expectations and embrace bold moves. The rumors swirling around practice have turned routine drills into moments of anticipation. As if every snap carries extra meaning, there is a feeling that something is brewing. Something that could redefine how the Eagles see themselves and how the league sees them. Whether these whispers fade or grow louder, they have already accomplished something important by reigniting belief and curiosity. In Philadelphia, belief can be a powerful force, and right now, fueled by speculation and imagination, it feels stronger than ever. As the conversation shifts into deeper speculation, the focus turns to how these potential arrivals could reshape the Eagles' long-term vision. People close to the organization are rumored to be debating not just talent, but philosophy, wondering if bringing in players like Myles Garrett and Jordan Love signals a commitment to aggressive reinvention. Garrett represents dominance in the present, a player who can immediately tilt the field and command attention, while Love represents a calculated gamble on the future, someone whose best chapters might still be unwritten. This contrast is said to fascinate the coaching staff because it allows the team to balance urgency with patience. Practices, according to the chatter, have become laboratories for experimentation, with schemes imagined and reimagined around these hypothetical centerpieces. Players reportedly feel like they are being invited into a bigger vision, one that asks them to evolve alongside the team, rather than cling to comfort, even without confirmation. The mere possibility has sparked strategic creativity, making the Eagles feel unpredictable again. There is also an emotional component that cannot be ignored, especially in a city that thrives on passion. Fans are rumored to be buzzing, dissecting every practice clip, and rumor with obsessive attention, searching for clues that these moves might be real. That energy, insiders say, seeps into the facility, lifting spirits and sharpening focus. Myles Garrett's name alone evokes images of defensive chaos, of quarterbacks scrambling and offenses adjusting in panic. Jordan Love's name sparks debates about growth, resilience, and the courage it takes to step into a demanding environment like Philadelphia. Players are said to be aware of this external excitement, and rather than feeling pressure, many are embracing it as motivation. The Eagles, in this speculative moment, feel like a team rediscovering its swagger, fueled by the idea that boldness could be rewarded. Another angle being whispered about is how these rumored additions could influence the internal culture of competition, with Garrett hypothetically anchoring the defense. Every practice rep against the offensive line becomes a measuring stick. Players are said to be pushing harder, knowing that excellence would no longer be optional but required. On offense, the idea of Jordan Love competing for influence and trust has reportedly sparked intense film sessions and extra workouts. As receivers and linemen imagine building chemistry with a new signal caller, coaches are rumored to encourage this intensity, believing that competition sharpens identity. Even those secure in their roles are said to feel challenged in a healthy way, reminded that growth is continuous. The rumors have effectively turned practice into a proving ground, where effort and adaptability are on full display. Strategically, the speculation paints a picture of versatility and unpredictability. Myles Garrett would allow the defense to dictate terms, forcing offenses to react rather than attack. That kind of leverage is invaluable, and players are said to already be fantasizing about the freedom it would create. Jordan Love, meanwhile, brings the allure of adaptability, A quarterback who could expand the playbook and keep defenses guessing. The rumor suggests that coaches are quietly exploring how these elements could intersect, crafting an identity that blends power with finesse. This imagined future has sparked creativity across the roster, making players feel like architects rather than passengers, even if the moves remain theoretical. The exercise itself is strengthening cohesion and belief. Leadership dynamics continue to dominate the conversation, particularly how established voices would coexist with these potential newcomers. Myles Garrett's reputation for relentless preparation is said to inspire respect before he even steps on the field. Jordan Love's calm demeanor, according to the speculation, could offer balance in high-pressure moments. Teammates are rumored to be discussing how leadership does not always have to be loud to be effective. These conversations are shaping a more nuanced understanding of what it means to lead in Philadelphia. The Eagles, through rumor alone, are redefining their internal narrative about accountability and trust. Ultimately, this wave of speculation feels less about specific transactions and more about identity. The Eagles are being talked about as a team unafraid to dream big, to imagine scenarios that challenge the status quo. Myles Garrett and Jordan Love have become symbols of that ambition, representing strength and potential in equal measure. Practices, locker room conversations, and fan discussions are all orbiting around the same idea. That transformation is possible if belief is strong enough, whether these rumors fade into silence or explode into reality. They have already achieved something rare by uniting players and fans around a shared sense of anticipation in a league defined by uncertainty. That feeling alone can be powerful, and in Philadelphia, it might just be the spark that ignites the next great chapter. FlyEaglesFly News family, smash subscribe and hit like. Your support keeps the freshest Philadelphia Eagles updates flying in. Drop your take in the comments and let's talk birds. The speculation keeps evolving, and now the whispers are less about shock and more about inevitability, as if the idea of these moves has started to feel normal inside the Eagles' world. People close to the locker room suggest that once a rumor reaches this stage, it stops being just noise and becomes part of the team's psychological fabric. Players are said to be visualizing scenarios, imagining how practices would feel, how meetings would sound, and how the overall rhythm of the team would change with Myles Garrett and Jordan Love in the building. That kind of collective imagination can be dangerous or powerful, depending on perspective. And right now it seems to be leaning toward power. Garrett is imagined as the emotional accelerant, the player whose presence forces everyone to confront their limits. Love is imagined as the stabilizer, someone who absorbs chaos and turns it into controlled momentum. Even if these visions remain hypothetical, they are shaping how players approach their craft. Extra time in the weight room, longer conversations in meeting rooms, and a noticeable edge in practice are all rumored to trace back to this shared belief that something bigger could be coming. There is also growing chatter about how this speculative moment could influence decision-making beyond the field. Executives and staff are rumored to be watching closely, gauging how the roster responds to uncertainty and expectation. The reaction from what is being whispered has been overwhelmingly positive, which only fuels the narrative that the Eagles are ready for bold change. Myles Garrett's imagined role goes beyond sacks and pressure, extending into how standards are set and enforced. Jordan Love's imagined role stretches beyond play calls, touching on trust, patience, and long-term vision. Together, they represent a philosophical shift toward embracing both dominance and development. That combination is rare, and the rumors suggest that it is exactly what has everyone intrigued. Even skeptics inside the building are said to admit that the idea has unlocked something intangible, a sense of possibility that cannot be measured but can be felt. As the speculation continues to ripple outward, one thing becomes clear in these whispered narratives: the Eagles are no longer being talked about as passive participants in the league's story. They are being discussed as potential authors of a new chapter, driven by ambition and imagination. Myles Garrett and Jordan Love have become shorthand for that ambition. Names that instantly spark debate and excitement. The locker room, according to the rumor mill, feels more alive, more urgent, and more unified around the idea that greatness requires courage. Whether these whispers ever crystallize into reality almost feels secondary at this point, because the mindset shift has already taken root. The Eagles, buoyed by speculation and belief, are acting like a team that expects more from itself. In a sport where confidence and conviction often precede success, that might be the most important development of all. That's a wrap from FlyEaglesFly News. If you want the fastest Eagles updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Sound off in the comments. Let's talk birds.